Shakey's is still an American brand. It still have Shakey's in California, no? But we are the biggest Shakey's operations in the world. It's really great to see interest coming in, continuously pouring in, but we also want to make sure we do it right. So we want to expand properly. We don't want to expand rapidly and then close rapidly. We want to do it, the right way. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We want to make sure we grow. But the future for me is having strong international presence in the right markets. We took advantage of the fact that everybody knows Shakey's, During uncertain times, and like what happened in COVID, people have to make sure they spend their money wisely. And the tendency is to go less experimental and, adventurism is down. So they go back to trusted brands. Even before COVID, we have really been investing heavily in our delivery platform. And we were already deep into digital. People eat in Shakey's on the research that we made about once every 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, so we don't capture them every day, or every week like a fast food, no. So Shakey's as a family casual dining captures the guests anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks on the average. So we get their business one time every 4 or 6 weeks. But everybody, you and me, we eat out more than once every 6 weeks. So there's that opportunity to get a bigger pie, a bigger share of the pie. And we intend to grow our share by also acquiring brands that will also be able to exceed expectations of the guests and give superior value. And so we acquired Peri Peri in mid-2019. So no one saw this crisis coming. Because we believe in the brand, we believe we love the chicken, and it complements the Shakey's brand. No, we put Shakey's and Peri Peri side by side, and it's not an issue because they will eat in Shakey's this week. Next week they can eat Peri Peri, no big deal. In fact, we put under one roof, they buy from both. So we saw an opportunity to increase our market share by acquiring brands that also have that unique capability to scale up and be a leader in their category. And by the way, Pinoy's source of protein is chicken. We're really a chicken country. You gotta have chicken. You gotta have fried chicken, grilled chicken. As far as this restaurant industry is concerned, you gotta have chicken. So if we were to expand, we said we need to have a brand, a chicken brand, and that's why we got Peri Peri. We believe it has what it takes to become. We acquired it. It was 23 stores from the founder owner, and he was more than happy to endorse to us his baby brand because he believes we can grow it, and that's what we intend to do. Now, in work with partnership with all these aggregators, we saw data that showed that the milk tea was the most selling SKU. Okay, so we said, it's cheap, it's affordable, it's affordable luxury. People will not mind buying a premium coffee or a milk tea at 100 plus because it's still affordable. Pero they pamper themselves, they treat themselves. And we saw that this milk tea wave was something that's sustained. There's been several waves of milk tea in the country, but this time around, with the advent of the specialty real brewed milk tea, we thought it already has a good following and the growth potential is very big. So we said we want to look at this category. And so we went after the franchise for the Singaporean brand, one of the leading milk teas in Singapore that was referred to us. I went there. I tried it. I said, wow, this is good. This is really, really good. And before that, you can imagine checking out all the milk tea brands in the country. I've had my sugar count really went up because I had to try everything that's out there. And when I got to compare it with what I tried in Singapore, I think we have a brand. And so we brought it in December, signed up the deal. We were supposed to open several stores, but because of the crisis, it wasn't practical. But we were quick to adapt and quick to make a pivot. We already have 260, 250 Shakey's stores nationwide. Milk tea is a delivery product as well and a carryout. And we have a very strong delivery platform. So if you think about it, this product and concept perfectly compatible owns assets in Shakey's. And so we decided to incorporate R&B milk tea. And we're very pleased with the with performance since we introduced it. It really has added transaction, and we're catering to a separate market. So the acquisition has also become a good, unique competitive edge for our group.
Shakey's is an established brand already. It's been there for the longest time. And R&B, you're entering a market that's very, very crowded already. And I know there are a lot of entrepreneurs who are watching this video. What would you advise for people in that regard also, that they plan to enter something that's very, very crowded so that they somehow will also get a piece of the pie?
Okay. My quick advice there is, if you're going to join late, you might as well make sure you're going to join with a bang and you're going to be able to outdo your competitors. If you're just going to like them, don't. But if you believe you have something to offer differently and better, it's never too late. Because it's all about providing the value image, the value proposition has to be superior.
Mm-hmm.
You and I, we will always, even if you're always eating ice cream or you buy these clothes or shoes, you will still look, if a new brand comes out and it really provides superior in everything, the trial will still come. So I don't believe in if it's already crowded, you can never go in. I think if you see an opportunity in that crowded market where you can do better for consumer, by all means go in.
Got it.
But that one, you've just got to be better sure. It should not be all about ego and hubris, no? Na magaling. You have to be very truthful, you have to be honest and care for the consumer. Do you have something to offer or not? If you have something to offer, and you because it's all part of your purpose of, giving, of serving. If you have that, then go for it.
Got it. Well said. Great advice. Moving back to Shakey's, we've started to open up again, and what I've noticed is people have been more confident to go out. Because even me, I would rarely go out on the first, I think 4 months, 5 months of the lockdown. But there was something that shifted October, November. Parang I felt I was more confident to somehow go out and eat out also. And when I started going out, I saw more people out as well. From Shakey's standpoint, how have you seen foot traffic change for at least the second quarter, third quarter versus the fourth quarter of 2020?
We see a very healthy increase quarter on quarter. But even before that, we just had to make sure all the safety protocols are in place, okay? We took a lot of effort and time to make sure that people will know, feel, and see that it is safe to dine in a Shakey's store. And we continue to remind our team every day. So we think this trend will continue. And of course, once the vaccine becomes readily available, I think that will be another change. That will be another major adjustment. People will be more bolder and go back to their older habits of meeting up with friends, office mates, high school buddies, and have dinner once a week or so. And I think, given the chance, Pinoys will always have to eat out. I don't think eat out will be gone forever. And we're always mindful of that. So we don't want to be rusty when it comes to the dine-in is allowed and our service is bad. We want our service to be wowie. So we want to remind ourselves. and our team on that.
And there's a sense that I like what you said, that Filipinos like to congregate. There's still something special when you do it outside as compared to the home. I think there's just something so different about it.
You know, Marvin, Filipinos are social creatures, no? So we will always keep that part of the brand positioning where Shakey's is one family pizza.
One of the things that I would always tell people is when you invest for the long term for a company, you look for its durable competitive advantage, something that you know that even if you're an entrepreneur, you're an employee, you invest in that company, you know, because it has that advantage, you can still sleep well at night. If there's one or two things that you think makes Shakey's stand out to people who have not really studied the markets yet, what do you think it is?
Well, okay, right off the bat, the products. Shakey's is originally an American brand, and we're pizza, but we're not just any other pizza. We're thin crust pizza, and then you pair that with the chips or chicken and mojos, and then Skeletti and bunch of lunch. We are known for our iconic products. Everybody knows Manager's Choice. Everybody knows bunch of lunch, mojos. People have tried to mimic this, and it's not easy. And during this crisis, when people begin to copy things at home, it was difficult to do a thin crust or even the right mojos at home. It's very difficult. So that is one thing that works to our advantage because of our iconic, distinct products. People have told me they can actually smell and even blindfoldly tell Shakey's if it's Shakey's or not. No? Second, one advantage we have enjoyed through the years, even amongst our peers, is that we both have the advantage of scale and margins. Okay? So we are like in the sweet spot of the industry. Some may be bigger, but they don't have the margins. Some have margins, but never be of the right scale. So probably 20 stores, and that's it. So Shakey's has shown the ability to be hundreds of stores and produce some of the healthiest margins in the industry. That is not easy to come by. So, in fact, it's our distribution that we have stores outside the malls that allowed us to navigate this crisis much better, because most of the brands that are purely on the malls really got hit. But we have some stores outside the malls. And margins have allowed us to provide value offerings during the crisis when times were tough, that people get shocked. Wow, we would really find cost savings elsewhere and just give it to consumer in terms of reduced prices and still provide a reasonable bottom line or earnings for us. So, because we wanted to give back to the Pinoys. It's a hard time for Filipinos, so the value of money is very important to them. So the margins we enjoyed allowed us to do that. So again, that would be a very distinct. And you add to that the whole advantage of the brand being familiar. Everybody knows the brand. They trust the brand. They know the service and the family concept. So it is not something you will be able to replicate overnight. It took us 45 years, okay, to build that kind of brand respect, trust, and love. So these are I would say, the very top three things.
Product, brand, margins. And you said this, that people get so excited about Shakey's in general. There was a time, I can't remember if it was April or May, that you started selling mojos in the grocery stores. Viber was lighting up, that everyone was excited. Oh, pwede na bumili. And I think it brought a buzz also to different segments of people.
But on top of that, we also came about with, mindful of the changes in the habits of the consumers. I don't know if you're familiar. We were one of the first to roll out the plant-based products, which is doing very well. Our good and bad burger. So we didn't just come up with a healthy plant-based burger. We came up with a really tempting, juicy, tasty meat product. So that's why we called it the good and the bad burger. And the play was well accepted and warmly received by the consumers. And for the first time, we have a burger that really has achieved the sustainable levels, and we're very happy to see it going strong. And I think it has happened because in general, consumers are really now conscious of what they eat. Because you have to be healthy and in good condition to combat this virus. So people have gone to exercising, eating healthier foods, and it's always good to provide with options. So that has helped.
Yeah, and that's been a very, very big trend also outside the Philippines, especially in developed markets. And I think what we do is we just copy what Filipinos, uso to sa States, try na rin natin. So I think that's what's happening also.
There's nothing wrong with that one, Marvin. There's nothing wrong. But ang aking panalalagi, kung gagaya ka lang, it's better.
Yeah.
Okay?
True.
So we came up with a product, very good. When people were saying others are selling it into... The first plant-based burger here, believe it or not, was charged at like 500 bucks.
Whoa. Wow.
So to enjoy that plant-based, healthy product, you had to cop out 500. We sold our big burger at 185.
Wow.
So we tell ourselves, okay, what will people think this price would be? Mga 250 yan, sir. Okay, then let's go lower than 250. And that's why we priced it at 185.
And I think that space is gonna get even bigger over the next few years. So I think that's a very, very good line to be in, especially there's a lot of talk about there's a lot of people who really don't like meat altogether. So I think they're the ones that will be very, very large customers in that space.
It's a growing base, and especially for the purists now, they really are very strict. They don't like any trace of animal products there. And we intend to continue investing and be strong in this category. It helps that we work with very key suppliers, all the big suppliers, and it also helps, Marvin, that we're also part of a manufacturing group, the Century Pacific Group. So we're quick. We have some advantage of knowing what's the new technology in that part of the industry, and we can have access to it very quickly.
Got it.
That's why we are able to move fast.
Speaking of growth also, you are opening a new store in Singapore.
Yes.
Can you give us more insight about that and your plans also to expand outside the Philippines? Because I know your franchise is in different areas, not just primarily in Southeast Asia. How do you plan to navigate that as well?
Okay. To begin with, let me explain that our group owns the Shakey's brand, basically half the globe. Okay, we own the Shakey's brand only for Asia, including China, and the Middle East, and Oceania, which is Australia and New Zealand. So the biggest part of the world is actually owned. The brand rights is owned by Spavi and our group, and we see, even as we continue to grow in the country, we see that the Shakey's concept, being an American Western brand, is exportable. It's exportable to other countries outside. And people have begun to really realize that Shakey's is acceptable in places like the Middle East. We said that will be another opportunity, a huge potential for growth. But we were never in a rush. So we partnered with a couple of groups in the Middle East, Kuwait and Dubai. Until the crisis has also affected them. So Kuwait had to close, but has already saw a new site they want to reopen. So our Middle East partners are still confident with the brand, and we're helping them out. But Singapore was always a market we always wanted to be in. It's so near. There's a lot of also a Filipino base there. But our expansion strategy for Shakeys, we wanted to make sure it was not just focused on the Filipino overseas workers. It would be a beachhead, if you will, but to make it sustainable, the concept has to be able to go mainstream. And in a way, it's very possible, and we're very excited and optimistic about it because Shakey's is still an American brand. It still have Shakey's in California, no? But we are the biggest Shakey's operations in the world. So moving forward, we've been going back to the many inquiries we've been receiving for Shakey's in their markets. So the interest, it's really great to see interest coming in, continuously pouring in, but we also want to make sure we do it right. So we want to expand properly. We don't want to expand rapidly and then close rapidly. We want to do it, the right way. It's not about, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We want to make sure we grow. But the future for me is having strong international presence in the right markets.
Before we put this to a close now, I hope that to everyone watching this, I hope you're learning from this, and I hope that you use this information for you also to make the right decision on what you're supposed to do with your investments. But I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs watching this, and some of them, their businesses got hit, and everyone got hit essentially last year. But for those that got massively hit, some lost everything. Any words of advice as someone who has thrived in this crisis that they could bounce back this 2021?
Yeah, I like that what you mentioned, bounce back. We have a promo, bounce back. Happy 2021. So if you have a super card, you get 20% off on top of 20. So it's 41. Now, yes, this crisis, one of the worst to hit, our industry and the country. It is, everybody's affected by this, okay? So you're not alone. I think what's the smart thing to do now is to reassess what business you're in and whether you should pivot, redesign it, or altogether get out of it. The reckoning will be is reassessing whether you're in the right business. And if you feel that the business is still there, but you need to pivot, then you will be able to make the adapt quick. Because you're slow in adapting, it will also lead you to the same place. You'll also lose your. Or altogether, finally, study what's out there and what are the opportunities there, and see how you can join. One industry that, is becoming a boon for them because of the crisis. The people didn't mind plants before, but now you go to the province, everybody's selling plants. What used to be 50 pesos is now being sold at 500 pesos. So I talked to many of them. This family are actually making wealth now than before the COVID. So there will be opportunity. My message is there will be opportunities there. You just have to really be serious, work hard, and look for it around. Observe. It can be cooking dishes at home and selling it to your neighbors. I don't know what. It could be anything else. There will always, there's truth in the saying, in every crisis there will be opportunity. So you just don't lose hope. And so it's either you adapt, then pivot, or you either get out of the business and finally go out and create new business that will be more relevant.
Wow, well said. And never, ever, ever let a crisis go to waste. There's always a learning that you can get from it.
That's true.
So thank you so much, Mr. Vic Gregorio, for joining us. But before I let you go, this is something very, very quick lang. It's called Fast Talk. 2 choices. Pick one, top of your head. No right or wrong answer. Just purely for fun. Steak or salmon?
Salmon.
Success or significance?
Significant.
Large, massive mansion or travel the world?
Travel the world.
Win 100 times but lose 50 times, or win once and never lose at all?
The first one.
100 million, doing what you love, or 1 billion, doing something you do not love?
No, the first one.
Work hard, work smart?
Both.
US dollar, euro?
Dollar.
Bitcoin, gold?
Bitcoin.
Fitness, finance?
Fitness.
City, country?
Country.
Beach or mountains?
Mountain.
Cut loss or fight for the business?
Fight for the business.
Makati, BGC?
BGC.
Die with a lot of money or die fulfilling purpose?
Die fulfilling purpose.
And lastly, the most important, money or love?
Love.
Okay, thank you so much. And to everyone who watched this, I hope you guys got a lot from this, and not just information about pizza and Shakey's, but also information as an entrepreneur on how you will navigate 2021. So to everyone, I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, and God bless you all.
So it's that strategy of catering to the needs of different segments, and that's why of late, over the last four years or so, we also marched into the dairy category to further diversify our portfolio, and we've been very successful at it. In just a short period of time, our market share is already 22-23% market share in powdered milk, and that we're now the #2 brand in powdered milk in that space of time.